we did also figure out what battleground we're going to be on. Kendrick, do you remember which battleground we're going to be on?
Yeah, we're going to Curse Hollow, easy peasy.
Also known as Infernal Shrines.
Also known as Infernal Shrines.
So who was right?
So what lemonade do you want?
I want a pink lemonade with extra pink.
Watermelon.
Watermelon is good.
Calder, what's your flavor?
We'll check.
Tell me what's your flavor.
I'm gonna. What was the drink that we had with the ramen?
Oh gosh, forget the name of it.
That was amazing. I'll take the mango version.
So it's a
mango.
It's a non-carbonated soda with strawberry poured on top of it with strawberry bits, or in your case, mango. And it was delish. Taiwan delivering again. And speaking of delivering, a ban has been delivered to us.
And that was a good one. And Maiev, one of the 2 remaining heroes in this tournament that has a 100% involvement rate. Genji and Maiev, the 2 that have been involved in every single game here. But seriously, this time I've been harping on Malfurion like a fanboy, and I really want Ballistix to somehow address this issue, because Tempest, with the compositions they're getting, are just walking away with one win after another. And it feels like they always are able to play in their comfort zone. And I feel if you go up against Tempest on an eye level, you're going to have a rough time. So I expect Ballistix to try and force them into something that is not right down their comfort zone.
And that is the thing, too. In the previous years, when Blossom faced those Tempest, the only game they were able to win was when they banned the Malfurion out and away from Hyde. And this is basically saying that Tempest is up to something, right? If they ban Uther, what's stopping Ballistix from first picking Malfurion themselves now?
Absolutely nothing, especially since you also can play Tracer if you wanted to. So if Genji is then picked, you can still think about Tracer here. Malfurion first pick was seen over and over again in the Western scene, but we have Genji prioritized, and I would be shocked if Tempest does not use that to their advantage now.
Did that just happen?
Tracer?
I was really under the impression that Tracer and Malfurion would be the pickup here for Ballistix. Because you can't give them the duo, right? Well, I guess it is Infernal Shrines. It's one spot where Tracer can be a little weaker.
I still would be very cautious about doing this, but yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like Dami's Genji was just too threatening last game. They really wanted to make sure they would not have to face that guy again.
But it wasn't really Dami's Genji, it was just the... Like, Dami's Genji was great, but it was empowered through the rest of the team, opening it up, because he never had to be the one who makes the play. He was in a position where he could sit tight and wait for the opportunity.
He was there to deny plays from Ballistix.
Exactly. And now we have Tracer and Malfurion, and sorry, but this is Captain Obvious calling, he wants his opening back. Because, I mean, can you get any more transparent than that? After the ban on Uther, wasn't it absolutely obvious what Tempest wanted? Tempest basically said, listen boys, we ban Uther and we want Tracer Malf. Do you have an answer to that, yes or no? And Ballistix just said, you know what, we take Genji and you can have whatever you want.
And this, once again, is now a very interesting position for Ballistix. How and when do they want to prioritize the hero pick of SCSC? We could actually see that they're waiting all the time until the last pick was chosen there in the previous battleground, trying to allow SCSC to maybe adjust. And what's stopping them from maybe going in for another Johanna, going in for another Arthas? They are both great heroes when it comes to maintaining control on Infernal Shrines as well.
ETC and Rhaegar comes out for Ballistix, both very safe pickups here.
Yeah, and I think Rhaegar was also a bit forced since they want to make sure they have a cleanse available.
Yeah.
The problem is, you don't necessarily need it, but if at this point you don't pick your support, Tempest is going to ban out Rhaegar, and you are more or less left with either Stukov or Karazim, and that could put you in a position where it's very rough going for you in the early game when you don't have a cleanse available. The only thing that would have happened is that, for example, Tempest says, hey, we already have Malfurion, we're going to bust someone out that has even more CC. In theory, you could even argue Diablo here, even though that isn't necessarily the go-to hero for Korean teams. We've seen him here, but it has definitely more so been a priority for either Chinese teams or for Western teams.
We're kind of forced to think within the boundaries of what the Korean teams have shown, because they don't usually deviate from
This caters a little bit towards a potential Diablo or a Garrosh play, removing the Malthael, removing that high scaling percentage damage and the lost rights. Let's see what we're going to see here.
We have seen Diablo 6 times at this tournament, but just not from the Korean teams. Korea hasn't played a single Diablo game here. But again, we see him a lot in Europe, for example, and this is one of his best maps for sure. So if at any point they're trying to throw a curveball by picking Diablo, it's going to be here. But I just feel there are enough tank options still available that Korea usually prioritizes over Diablo, that the chances of us seeing him, even from a Western perspective, he could fit, are pretty slim.
I feel like we would see a Johanna first before we saw the Diablo,
Yeah,
just based on what we've seen in the past, and also would help out against ETC. It gives you a little decent control on Genji if you want to be near that Tracer or the Malfurion, just to make sure you protect him.
That's definitely one of these things where you still see differences in the approach to the meta. And that's, for example, something that's only going to be solved through the mid-season brawl, when we have the Western meta and the Asian meta collide.
And what's stopping Tempest right now from picking a Hanzo, maybe? Eliminating another main pick of SCSC, following it up by either Arthas or Johanna. But they go for a completely different tank line. There we go, bringing and adding a little bit of new spice into the pot here. We have Anubarak and Leoric joining the fray.
Leo helpful for locking down a Rhaegar if he ever oversteps, but also helpful for just being on a position to double soak when it comes to the Shrine phase, and being able to control that. Then also his late game at level 20 is terrifying.
It's insane.
And then you also have the follow-up for a Cocoon, both in a Root and in a Tomb and a Silence. This all synergizes very nicely and empowers Tracer to find her targets.
I'm already scared out of my mind for Ballistix. I'm really curious to see what's going to be the double pick at the end that changes what's happening here, because right now Tempest is again right where they want to be, and every single time they found themselves in their comfort zone, they've just been destroying opponents. We've seen it in the last game, we've seen it in the previous series. How is Ballistix going to change that? You mentioned Hanzo as a potential pick for SCSC. Greymane is in this setup better than he was on the last map, I feel, but I still want to see if there's maybe a twist that they can throw into this.
There's a Blaze potentially coming in there as well, but it is going to be the Tychus and SDE from Ballistix. That is his go-to hero to fall back on, but is he even going to play it? Because now all of a sudden with the Genji there as well, and no classic ranged assassin, it could be SCSC.
SC could be on the Genji. He's played it a couple times.
Yeah, that's a good point too. So it's probably going to be SDE on the Tychus. There we go.
Yeah.
SCSC on Genji works out.
And for Tempest here on their 5th, a final pickup for damage would be nice for them here. They have Leo for that side push, handling the Dahaka. Anything that can help secure some kills? Well, more of someone that can poke it a little bit. Do we just go to Junkrat? Is that just the option for them?
It feels like Junkrat would be a really good slot in for him here, with this also being Infernal Shrines. It's great for the objective of the map. If you look more towards a mage, we could see maybe even Li Ming here, but I would personally think that Junkrat is probably the best option in this setup.
Trying to think of anything else that would just pop out immediately. I mean,
that's the problem, right? We can't really think of any pocket picks coming in, and there we go, adding a little bit of China into this. Jaina, is it the first time we see her? The second or third time, I think. We've seen her in the past.
We've seen it from the Chinese teams. This is the first time for the Korean teams, I believe. So Jaina coming in here.
It surprises me because of how important the thought process is clear. You have really good isolation and you can really go for the burst damage and try to take a target down. So from that perspective, it's a pretty cool pick to go for. But considering how focused in drafting the Koreans were on Junkrat and how successful Junkrat was. I mean, Junkrat is sitting at a 60% win ratio with 20 games played and 12 wins, which is insanely strong for a tournament, for an offline tournament. So I would really have expected him to be picked up here, since this is also one of the better maps for him, where you can just simply poke from the outside, even if you don't take the control of the shrine itself.
To be fair, though, it's not too shabby of a map for Jaina. She's got great shrine control. The AoE is insane. If she manages to keep herself alive, especially after obtaining the ice block, she could maybe deal with all that Genji aggression. However, we're going to see how Jaina and her compadres are going to fare in this game. Trixler and Calder take it away for game number 2 between Tempest and Ballistix.
And something not to forget about as well, when it comes to Odin being popped, there is that animation where you're staying still for a second. A lot of teams in the past would use Jaina, walk forward, drop the Ring of Frost right on top of the Odin when it was in the middle of transforming, which allows for Tracer to maybe move in and get that engaged later on. You also have the Entomb set up into a Ring of Frost. So Tempest definitely has the tools here to get those fights. Ballistix opening up with some aggression as Hooligan comes around the corner, but nothing unfolds. Oh, hang on, a drag on Tracer, and Tempest will lose her Tracer as Ballistix gets a kill.
Delete it. insta-kill here against Tracer, and that's already showing that they are here to make a bit of a statement, and they definitely need to. Ballistix didn't look good on the first map, and now they need to remedy that. Tempest is in the lead in the series. This is a best of 5, and this is, of course, if you lose here, it's lights out. We're looking to find out who's going to be the team that moves forward to face KSV Black in the grand final through the lower bracket. And
Ballistix right now is not ready to lay down. They definitely want a chance to get back at KSV Black themselves as well. Already, more aggression here. Power slide on to the Jaina, a route to try and keep her alive, but Lockdown isn't so lucky as he gets taken out. Tempest able to grab a kill, but Ballistix loses their own as ETC gets deleted.
Yeah, ETC definitely. Hooligan in this case was very far out, and it actually surprised me that he went for the kill attempt here because of how much he exposed himself in the attempt to get it. It was still an even trade, so it's absolutely fine in this particular setup. But yeah, a lot of aggression now coming out of Ballistix. They're trying to open up the map with a lot of aggression, try to take control of the game, and then run the show. Yeah,
definitely showcasing why you see a lot of ETC players try to power slide into their team so they have that safety net available to them. If you power slide forward into the opposing side, typically he's actually squishy enough to be focused down, and Tempest showcase that. So Ballistix hopefully going to have their Hooligan play a little bit safer here. He's coming up here in the top right corner just to scout out, see if anything's possibly in grab, or maybe catch that Leoric on a rotation while the top wave gets pushed in.
And talking Leoric, we have again that Eastern flavor. Austin's Renewal as a level 1 talent taken for him here for a bit of additional self-sustain. But this is going to be the game where Ballistix needs to come back into it. It's incredibly difficult if you fall behind 0-2 to crawl your way back into the series and make sure that you win 3 in a row. So it's always a huge problem when you are put into that spot. So Ballistix definitely want to make sure that they win this game and tie the series up. They have their level 4 now. That means that in particular, Tigers can start chunking that front line with the bigger they are.
Bigger they are coming in there. Very annoying to deal with if Tigers is able to ever get that trade where he pops that minigun. Tempest, on the other hand, working on grabbing the Mercs to the south, and Ballistix, they have sniffed this out. Power slide into an engage on Hyde. He's all by himself, and he is getting low. Zhongguo will attempt to chase him, so will SDE on the back left, but Dami comes in with a pulse bomb. He'll be able to put some damage in, goes in for an engage. How is Hyde still alive? Okay, not anymore, as SESE comes in to pop off on Genji.
Double kill here for Ballistix, doing well so far, but the fight isn't over yet. Jaina once again trying to deliver here, but it looks like Good is going to fall without taking anyone down as a result. The camp taken, and this is actually the opening that Ballistix was hoping for. It doesn't get any better than that. Half-level lead as you approach the first shrine. 5 kills against 2. Very aggressive opening. But I got scared for a second here for Ballistix, with Hyde surviving for ages and Tracer diving deep to attempting a kill against Tigers. If that kill goes through and Hyde can stay alive a little bit longer and heal himself up, then that might turn around. But Ballistix was able to confirm the kills, and now they have the early level 7 looming on the horizon.
Yeah, that fight was definitely very close to the door swinging the other way. That is for sure. Tempest now coming out of the top here to face off against Ballistix, who has started the Shrine phase, already in a lead 10-0. Bit of a change up in terms of builds here for our Jaina player. Don't normally see these pickups, but one that allows her to be a little bit more defensive. A Nubrak goes in for an engage. Hooligan will power slide forward, runs towards his teammates here, drops down the heal, stays alive just barely, while SESE is finding more kills. There's 1, there's 2. Can he get a 3rd?
And Hooligan just moves out. There's the 3rd kill. That was actually a really awesome move by Hooligan, sliding into them, trying to turn it around instead of just attempting to save himself. And all of a sudden, SC, I mean, whatever he had for breakfast, it works out. It doesn't, in this case, confirm the last kill, but it was still a worth trade. 4 kills against 1 overall. SC just going for it, and only Lockdown surviving the carnage at the top lane.
Definitely a strawberry banana smoothie. I can really tell. He is empowered right now.
Is that the strongest smoothie they can go for?
That is the strongest smoothie you can get in the morning. That will get your appetite going for the day, and Ballistix is destroying because of it.
What about spinach in this smoothie?
Spinach and a fiber is good to mix in there. You want to try and cover the taste. We will talk more about this later, because a smoothie that is good for you is healthy for the game. Ballistix gets this Punisher and will push in the top lane.
I like the nutritional facts. So guys, if you want to be healthy, we are happy to deliver. The one thing that's also very healthy right now is that Immortal, the Punisher, at least up to this point. Tempest is going to try and change that, but we already have Ballistix themselves capitalizing on the situation by simply moving in from the side and flanking. Full-on aggression from Ballistix. I mean, it's go hard or go home for these boys, and they are taking Jaina down. They are taking a Nubarak down. Ballistix is completely unleashed. They are angry. They are mad, losing game number 1. has definitely flipped the switch somewhere for this team.
11 kills to 3, and they're about to hit level 10. They get the fort towards the top.
5 minutes in.
5 minutes in, yeah, it's bonker sauce right now as Ballistix is delivering in terms of aggression, as Tempest is having a hard time handling this. Ballistix will also take the camp in the top right corner. They have completely all free will to do so. With this lead, they have a full 2 levels, 10 to 8.
Ballistix's biggest problem right now is that they don't know what to kill first. And that really needs some debate. I feel this is what Voicecom's all about. I definitely think that Genji is currently in favor of taking Tracer down. It's another Overwatch hero. He doesn't like competition. Whereas...
PSA, turn your comms on, please. You don't have to talk, but please listen. Ballistix, 11 to 8 right now. Tempest is trying to hang.
It took me a moment to get what you were even talking about. But yes, definitely, guys, join Voicecoms.
Well, a full level away, Tempest will now have to relax for a little bit. They have to chill out and try to get their 10 here, and that's not a Jane upon them. That's actually just a pure fact. Relax a little bit here, get to 10, and then probably try to fight for the next shrine phase. Find those picks you want.
And talking about the picks, SC has already had a way more of an impact in this game than he had in the entire first map. So I really want to see if he can continue to do that. The big question for me is, can Tempest somehow recover? Because they have been on the receiving end of an absolute onslaught the entire time.
Yeah.
And now they just have to try and somehow play it safe until they can play on even talents and maybe bring the fight to Ballistix. Since if you look at what they're running here, their entire composition screams aggression. They want to go in with a Nubarak, they want to drop Tombs, they want to get also the Twilight Dream out, but again, Ballistix moving in and putting the pressure on Sign himself.
He goes too far, he goes for the bite. Water Elemental comes out instantly here. Manga is able to retreat back thanks to the minion waves being there. A mosh pit as Hooligan goes for it on Dami, but Dami, after the Twilight Dream, is able to drop the Pulse Bomb, but the Ancestor Healing will connect.
Dami about to go down, and this is the end of Rhaegar. The Cocoon is already on the ground, and this could be the second kill as they're already trying to go in for HGC, but instead it's Leoric that falls. And of course SC is there again, chasing down high, trying to get Malfurion. The roots are on the ground, but that's not going to be enough. SC confirming the kill. Jaina also dying. 14 kills against 4. Ballistix is just annihilating Tempest.
A 1-for-3 trade, and they look towards a fort. That'll give them a level 13. Tempest tried to turn around that fight. That was a really aggressive dive from Ballistix, and if they got that Rhaegar, Tempest could have had it. But the spontaneous mosh pit coming out from HGC to lock down Tracer for a second there was cutting edge. Tempest even responds back with the Twilight Dream into the Pulse Bomb, almost trying to get the kill, but the Ancestor Healing from Rhaegar. So many great heroics in that fight.
That insane Ancestral was really what turned a lot of this around, and then Cocoon comes out because at this point Science just says, alright, we're never going to kill the guy, at least we're going to get him out of the fight for a few seconds.
Sure.
But Hyde gets caught on the other side of the battle, and he's just like, well, this is not really working out for us. He gets taken out, but it all started with a kill for them, so it's a 2-level lead, more than that even, and Ballistix has a free shrine available to themselves now if they want it. And basically they're saying, yeah, we kind of like that. Punishers are good, at least we heard they are, so let's take another one.
Tempest sees Dahaka in the top lane, so they're going to go ahead and drop the Water Elemental to try and catch Dahaka if he comes in for the Brush Shock, and here he comes. So the Water Elemental, they can turn around and deal with him, but Hooligan gotten caught in an in-2 on the back left, allows for him to power slide forward and catch Good. Good gets choked down to half health and survives, but Tempest only ahead 22-14.
Tempest is not going to win this one, and they already have pressure at the top lane against themselves, where they need to send someone to deal with the camp. Time is working in favor of Ballistix, and now we have Odin already committed to. Leoric is down. I don't know what Tempest is doing. How can they hope to win this fight? They would need an insta-kill, and I just don't see it happen. Here comes the Dragon Blade, and he slices, dices. Sign is down after Tracer is eliminated, and Tempest is now losing even more at the top lane, where the camp is putting pressure. They're losing the Punisher. What was the thought process here?
I'm not sure. Tempest has completely lost all composure here with the Night Camp still pushing the top. Jaina will have to go defend that. But without any major bursts, the only burst they have is that Pulse Bomb. You're not going to get a kill. If they had a Ring of Froster, maybe I could see them sticking around trying to get a Hail Mary pick, but nothing is going to unfold for them, and Ballistix punishes them. A 4-level lead and a Punisher marching towards the Night Camp, or the Keep.
Yeah, and they are about to hit a double talent advantage. In theory, Ballistix can even end here. You open up the sidewall. If you get a kill, you could theoretically even try to end with a double talent lead. This is getting crazy. Tempest is getting so heavily obliterated that I'm having a rough time searching for words in the English language to convey how much Tempest is getting spanked in this game.
Getting absolutely destroyed. Tempest sets up a concave here. They have to have an incredibly efficient fight here to be able to defend. They get the Punisher cleaned up, and they still have their keep alive. It's at half health. Ballistix unable to continue pushing forward. The water elemental being annoying, and Tempest will hold.
Tempest with a good defense. Again, if there are a few kills, this could have even snowballed towards the core. But with Tempest keeping themselves alive, baiting the Punisher, and they're even able to keep the keep in play. And that was important. They're still 4 levels behind and 2 talents behind as well. So at this point, Ballistix can do whatever they want. As long as they don't stagger deaths and don't get isolated on the map, feed individually, they're going to be completely fine. This is really Ballistix' game to lose.
Yeah, Ballistix, the saving grace there, not having their Odin or the Dragon Blade available for that push into the keep, is what prevented them from going heavily into Tempest. But with their cooldowns starting to pop up, they are threatening this keep once again. Odin's back, and so is the Dragon Blade. Hooligan even going for an aggressive power slide, misses out on Dami as he sidesteps there, but Tempest is aware. Ballistix is looking for a kill.
And I mean, let's be honest, we needed them to go for that keep here. I would have been shocked if they didn't try it. And here comes the attempt to go for Tigers. That's not going to work out. Tempest is fighting, and Jonga is still there, and Tomb is on the ground. Here comes the mosh pit as they're going in again, and guess who's dead? It's Hyde. Down goes Malfurion, and Ballistix is on the warpath looking for the second. Here comes the aggression, here comes the damage, but Tempest is on the run.
They are on the run. They run to the cover of their core. And remember, we're only 12 minutes in this game here, so death timers are still pretty little here. 14 seconds for Malfurion to pop up. Ballistix takes the keep and the kill, and they walk away. They're happy with it. They have a 4-level lead, and with a Punisher up soon, they can grab that and push top lane.
Jonga was also not here, by the way, so he was already sitting at the top lane, giving even more experience to his team. The discrepancy that we see in levels here is insanity. It's absolutely crazy. 4 levels, and this is not a 4-level lead as you just wipe the opponent's team and move towards the core. This is 12 minutes in, 17 to 14, and they are going to make, I mean, this is insane.
There is a little good news for Tempest.
Really?
Level 13 hits, Icy Veins coming out there. The ability to machine gun down your opponent is helpful if Ballistix is in a spot where they make a couple of mistakes, but Ballistix, as you mentioned, is playing pretty out of their mind. I'm just trying to be hopeful for Tempest, man.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of ifs. I mean, if Ballistix all of a sudden decides that it's a great time to go for a smoke, then Tempest can also come back into the hit. But so far, they are just trying to push the advantage. They're doing a great job with it. They're moving into the mid lane. They drop the wall here, and now we have the stat advantage alone from a 4-level lead is already crazy. 18 kills to 4, and now there's a shrine at the top lane. From my perspective, it's really the question, what do you do with your Tempest? Because normally, if your opponent has a lead, you're saying like, okay, just play safe, try and get the talent, and then go for the fight where you have even talents. That's the way that you come back. But normally, we're not talking about such a massive lead in these games.
Typically, when you're behind against a Dahaka composition, you try and find that Dahaka, and you kill him. But so far, that opportunity hasn't been available for them. Dahaka continues to play very safe. They've gone for one attempt to try and negate him, but Dahaka, being aware of this, just sits back. And now it's all about just holding. They need to get 16, and they're soaking.
Look at Tempest. They're not even making any moves. They're not going for bottom structures because Ballistix is already present there. They are so far ahead, they could get let the Punisher go and wait for 20. And now they're going for the fight down here at the bot lane, and everybody's on the run. Hyde is trying to get out of here, trying to save himself. The isolation hits. Malfurion is going to fall. He's delaying it with an ice block, but it's all that he can do. Drops the ult as well, but already we're seeing even more aggression coming in. SC survives, protected. Down goes ETC. That's actually the best thing that could have happened for Tempest. They trade a kill and they get the underdog experience bonus, so they now are well, not snowballing, but they're heading to 16. But at the top lane, we have again the wall being pushed in. The Punisher was just taken, and yeah. Tempest has at least 16, so they can defend for a bit longer, but still, this is just rough.
With the tank being down, it's a little bit harder for Ballistix to go full aggressive in this push. They can pop Odin. They do have Dahaka, so maybe they can follow up onto a Punisher stun. Sign comes in on the back left here, try and deal with this Punisher. So Tempest, after getting the ETC taken away and also pulling Genji away for a little bit, does buy time to clear out this Punisher, but you're completely correct. 20 is right around the corner.
Yeah, with 16 in the hand. By the way, I like what Ballistix just did, because most teams would have been with a 3-level lead, with 19.5, nearly 20, and the Punisher moving in. Most of the teams would have been very tempted to just say, okay, guys, let's try and take the keep. We need to take the keep. We need to do something. But the only way that Tempest can come back into this is by getting a few kills. And Ballistix simply said, yes, we lost ETC, makes it a bit rough to push. Let's just play this super safe. Don't give them an opportunity to take fights now in a 5 versus 4, even with the Punisher, because if the stars align just perfectly for Tempest and they get 2-3 kills here, they might be able to close that gap in experience slowly and steadily. So let's just wait for ETC, and once we have 20, the map is ours for another couple of minutes. We can easily get another Punisher, we can push for that keep whenever we want to, so it was a really safe call. And maybe a bit counterintuitive for a lot of people, but I really, really like that they made that choice.
I feel like with Odin here, they can actually push with this Bruiser Cam and go straight for this keep. There's not much Tempest can do to stop it.
Especially with big red button.
Yeah, exactly here. And they have that big red button. And until someone shows, Tempest doesn't have to pop that Odin. But the moment anyone comes up here to this top right corner for defense, SDE can commit to that. Hooligan will anchor for his team while the rest of Ballistix moves in for this keep. Good steps up to wave clear. Maybe they can try and get somebody caught in the keep slow, but nobody gets caught here for Ballistix. In fact, it's only Leoric gets caught. Good is taken out.
Yeah, the bigger they are being popped here, and immediately Leoric gets chunked down, and SCSC says, okay, thank you very much for that. Goes in, they take the key. They haven't even committed to big red button yet, to Odin, but they can do it now as they move towards the core.
Dami sharking around here. He has that pulse bomb up and available. Odin has been used, as you just mentioned, big red button coming out to clear up the minion waves, making it harder for defense. Tempest waiting for Good to come back. He'll have that Entomb, and Sign is ready to engage at any point. Ballistix, with the concave though, does deter Ballistix away.
They could have also just simply started to push for the keep. It's really surprising that they are backing off now, considering that they used Odin. They didn't have to do that. They already took the keep down. So they could have said at this point, you know what, we're just backing, we're waiting for the Punisher to come in, and then we play around that. But now the move in the middle, so they moved around, they wait for their own minion wave, and they still try to at least put some pressure on the last remaining structure of Tempest before the core.
Will Tempest have to take a fight without level 20? Do you think that's ever going to be the case here, or are they going to try and just hold?
I think Tempest has to force a fight at some point against 20. I don't think they can wait for level 20 abilities, because we will see another Punisher, another Shrine announced in just a few seconds. There it is. And losing that, middle or no middle, where the last remaining fort is there, I don't think they can hold. They can't bait it to the side anymore, so that's already a big problem. There are no structures left. So if Ballistix wins this one, I think it's lights out. Tempest will have to face this one. They need to force that fight.
Well, Ballistix are doing everything they can here to make it even more hard for Tempest. They're going to grab the Bruiser Camp to the top left. That'll push in with catapults. Tempest takes the time to clear up the top lane, as they'll be getting the level 19 experience, but they are still a full level away. Ballistix starts the Shrine, and they start clearing. Tempest comes up and scouts it, and it's judgment time. They have to decide.
And the top lane is already getting pressure, as he said before, so that situation is not going to get any better. They are on a clock to make matters even worse. And here comes Sign, looking for any kind of opening. We have Odin ready again, and they're going for it. So they're immediately moving in. Leoric is already down to half HP. Sign is coming in from behind. Moves out, but there's just nothing they can do at this point.
Big Entomb will come out though. Good goes in. ETC also being caught in the cocoon. Good uses Drain Life, and it misses actually at the same time. Twilight Dream will be used, and we're gonna get a kill on Genji. Tempest trying to win this team fight.
Yeah, Good is nearly down though. That mosh pit, by the way, didn't really do a whole lot. Maybe Tempest can turn this here. Lockdown is extremely low though, and Hooligan is trying to chase him down even harder. We have Malfurion falling first, and the core is already starting to lose shields as Tempest is in trouble. Leoric drops, and that is all she wrote here.
That's going to be it here as the catapults are starting to hit on top of the core. The armor is going to be dealt with. The Nubreck finally gets back in time, but with the Punisher being grabbed, only Genji down. Ballistix can start to move towards the middle keep here, and defense will be very difficult. Hooligan can follow up with a power slide. Sign will have to have a perfect bait.
Yeah, and they are just moving in. It's a 4 versus 3, and the core has already lost its shield in 20%, and that Punisher, of course, means business. Moves in, takes down the well. The last remaining keep is about to drop. Catapults are pushing through the bot lane, through the top lane, and they're going for the kill. They want it. They want lockdown. Punisher jumps in as well. He wants a piece of the action, and he gets it as Jaina is still on the run, but that doesn't matter anymore. SDE might be low, but is that really going to be the defense that Tempest needs, with catapults now locking onto the core finally? Jaina down, Leoric dying again, and this is going to be the tie in the series.
Yes, that's right. Ballistix goes straight for the core with the minions helping out here as well. Tempest does not even hit level 20, and we have a tied series. We're going to game number 3. Ballistix tying it up 1-1.
Ballistix finally finding their comfort zone here. Really well played. If you take a look at their composition, it basically screamed Ballistix through and through. We had SDC on his trusty old Tychus again, 12 games in regular season, 0 defeats on that. We had Jongha on his Dehaka, his most played hero in his entire career. It really seemed to me, even SCSC on the Genji obviously, it just seemed to me like we saw a whole different Team Ballistix.
Yeah, Tempest needs to have a big tube of aloe vera because they got burned hard in this one. I mean, that was insanely dominating.
The early game just fell apart for them completely. SCSC able to get constant reset underneath the force of the opponents is actually something that is unheard of a lot of the time here, but he was that dominant in those fights. Absolutely stellar gameplay from him.
If that would have been a scrim, after the first 3 minutes, they would have said, okay, GG next, and just like go rematch, like game's over. That was crazy, and that was a perfect start for Ballistix, and it was really what they needed in this one. Big statement now. I'm insanely hyped for Game 3 because I want to see if now Tempest can shrug this off. We know that Tempest can pull it off. They played fantastic throughout the day and throughout the tournament. But at this point, if you get dominated this hard in a game, can you simply say, okay, whatever, just one map, let's focus on the next one, we forget about it? Or how do you deal with that situation?
Yeah, and we're going to find out exactly how this series is going to pan out. Whether Tempest will be able to strike back or whether Ballistix will continue this very impressive streak. In a bit, after a short commercial break, don't go anywhere.